Eric can't throw a touchdown pass, and Jordan can't score a touchdown, and Brizzy, unless those five are doing their job. It's a requirement. And so they did a good enough job. They thought they protected fairly well, other than the one bust. Run game wise, I think we're a little bit high at times, and and they took it to heart, and they had a great practice today. So they're decent. They're a good front. I set the bar pretty high for those guys up front, and they keep answering the bell.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about Eric's command and on the field and the presence he has for a young guy?
Yeah, it's impressive. He's still messed up a couple of the signals. And called a couple plays that I've never heard of, and that we've never run. So we've run some stuff we have never. It's not even in the playbook. We ran it. So so he got caught up a couple times, but it never, it never bothers him. He'll come to the sideline, like, "What did you call?" And he'll be like, "I screwed up, coach. I called this." And I was like, "Oh, that's what that was," And but the one or two times, but he gets right back on track, and that's the fun part, because a lot of times with young kids, there's peaks and valleys, and with him, the one thing I found is the valleys aren't very long. It's a play, or maybe two. As soon as we can get him, talk to him again. Normally he'll already know, but that's probably the biggest thing for his development, is that those valleys are here and there. And he threw one ball over the middle that was a freshman moment that I think everyone held their breath for a second, and and they dropped they dropped an end underneath their primary receiver, and he kind of froze a little bit. And then later on, same thing happened. He scrambled and threw one to Kendall down the sideline. So that's the fun part about watching him, is those valleys don't last very long.
I wanted to ask about Corey Winfield. I know you went down to St. Louis when he was being recruited to be a wide receiver. What do you remember from that visit and kind of what you saw from him?
Just athletically, he is an unbelievable athlete. His vertical is crazy. His high school film, they would just kind of throw the ball up to him and let him go Randy Moss people, And I think he returned the first 6 kicks that were kicked to him that year, and then they stopped kicking to him, obviously, But 6 in a row I think it was 6. Wow. It's a pretty impressive number, And so he's just athletically, he's an unbelievable athlete. He had an interception today in practice that the whole practice kind of stopped. Mm-hmm. It's like, did that just happen? So, and I know Coach Shape's working with him hard on his technique, and he's doing a great job.
And I know he was kind of disappointed when he had to switch to cornerback, as he kind of saw himself as kind of a great wide receiver. How did you see him kind of take that transition?
He's doing great. He's loving it. He seems to fit in the room, and I know he's loving being out there and playing, and it's fun to watch him. He scored I think the first touchdown of the year, on the defensive side. So yeah, he's doing a great job, and it's fun to watch him now that he knows what he's doing. It's hard to go against him. I'll tell you that.
Can you talk about Central Michigan and what you've seen so far and what we can expect from them on defense and what you guys are getting ready for?
Yeah, they're really stout up front. They return everybody, and the front four, they can move, and they're just big and strong low. They're not really tall, but they got great balance. It's gonna be hard to push people around. 3 new linebackers, and there are a couple DBs returning that were pretty good. They have one safety who I think is a pretty darn good player, as good as we're going to see. So, and the thing is that they're a lot like us. They're going to fly around, and they're going to hit you hard, and they're not going to back down. So that's one thing about the MAC teams. They're going to come in here, and they're going to be physical, and we're going to have to be ready because it's not going to be easy. You're not going to push those guys up front around, that's for sure.
Do you have any kind of gauge on whether Rob or Paris will be able to play?
No, you have to ask Coach Shape. I have no clue right now.
They're practicing?
I have no clue. No, not today. But you have to ask him about that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Eric's ability to run, kind of his fearlessness out there, that other element to his game, just talking about a little bit.
The biggest thing with him that I feared was if you watch his high school highlight tape, he's known for jumping and getting flipped in the air, and I loved it as a recruiter. And I just told him, you got to stop doing that. He did it for the first time. He tried to go up over the pylon, but other than that, he's been sliding. Just keep telling him slide, protect your body, and so he's been doing a really good job, which I was worried about. First time he ran, he slid. I was like, he's listening. But then he went up over the pylon. Like, he didn't get flipped this time. He landed on his feet, but. Sometimes when he gets around the goal line, he starts using his jumping ability, which scares me. But he's an extremely good athlete, powerful, explosive, and he's just got to be smart. He's doing a lot of good things to protect his body. He's a guy that you can use in the run game, and he's not going to put himself in bad situations.
each week as a I mean, only going into the third week now, but what you've seen through the fall camp and where he is right now, what are some of those moments maybe in practice that you've seen him kind of take that one step and then that next step moving forward?
You know, the biggest thing for me is mental. You know, because he's made some throws today even that are like wow type throws. You know, the unbelievable touch or a good feel for going through a progression. You know, big thing I want to continue to work on. I try to throw a lot of different coverages at him. I try to give him some of the tough reads and the tough checks because those are the ones he needs to see. You know, and so that's really with me. I'm just continuing to give him the different looks and seeing if he can just continue to get comfortable with coverage. You know, and when he does, you know, the throwing part and the ability part, I don't worry about. You know, his feet are getting better. He had a lot of trouble during camp with his feet, a little fast, a little tall, and he's been working at that. So, you know, it's been fun. It's been fun to watch him as he's continued to grow. I just need to continue to, you know, not put him in too many bad situations. You know, I know people, because he does a great job, makes some big plays. You know, but you know, if we're too aggressive, then it can go the other way fast.
Is it an exciting problem to have at this point with Jordan Fredericks coming on the way he did with Devontae and with George? Yeah,
I mean, especially with a young quarterback, you know, to have 3 running backs that you can hand the ball to and let them pound it, you know, and a 4th or 5th year senior offensive lineman, you know. So, you know, it's really important, and Kendall's doing a good job, you know, blocking. And so it's fun to have that. It makes everything a lot easier.